Hey Coach, this is Coach Simpson here. You'll have to kind of excuse me for my background in this video. We are in the middle of a move in a couple days and everything's packed up. But I wanted to go ahead and at least put some more information out there for you. And I figure I don't look good anyway, so we might as well just get to the content. For those of you who might be new to this channel, this is a channel dedicated to football coaches or other coaches or really any walk of life, but it's really very heavily in the football world. I've got a lot of information available, so if you like this video, you can go back in this channel and find some more information. You can go to my website, fbcoachsimpson.com, and get more details on whatever topic I might be going through. Today I want to talk to you about a big mistake a lot of coaches make, and it's the mistake of what's behind me, doing too much. Stepping out and doing too much. If you're like me, and you probably are, because here you are, you're going around YouTube looking for ways to improve as a coach, is probably how you came across this video. You're going to struggle with the problem that a lot of coaches do that are very passionate, and not just coaches, but people in general do. They become extremely passionate about what they do, and that's that they try to do too much too quickly. I know that that's probably my number one biggest issue or area I have to always pay attention to as a football coach is I love football, I love studying the game, I love studying specifically offense, but I do defense as well. And so I get all these great ideas, and they are great ideas. And there's such a wealth of information out there that we can gain access. We want to learn about the air raid or the flex bone or shotgun wing T or the 3-4 or the 4-3 or the 3 safety or quarters or cover 2. There's so much great information out there. And I love studying it. It's just kind of a hobby for me, is to go study and gain all this information. And the problem becomes, how do I implement all of this stuff? And the reality is you don't. Because if you do, you're going to have some problems. So I wanted to walk through a few of those and give you kind of an analogy of the funnel that I've used before, I think even on this channel. So when you decide, hey, we're going to do all of this stuff, it could be offensively, it could be defensively, it could be program-wide, it could be in another sport, it could be in a business. This principle applies across across anything. But football, we see it show up a lot with very passionate guys that have great intentions, that they try to do too much too soon. I know I was guilty of that, and I still am guilty of that at times. And so here's some things that happen when you do too much. One, what you do can't be refined and ends up being not very well done. So for instance, if we decide we're going to run 18 different run concepts, then we're going to not be really good at any of them. They're all going to be relatively sloppy because we're not going to be able to spend the time that is dedicated toward that concept to become great at it. In the air raid offense, if you want to run mesh, that's a very expensive play. It takes a lot of time. If you're wanting to run verticals where you're reading and they're deciding what they're going to run, or choice route, those are great concepts, but they take a lot of time to become good at. And where coaches become in trouble is when they try to do this concept and that concept and that concept, and now you have 3 really expensive concepts, and there's only 2 hours worth of practice every day, or there's only so many days you can practice, or there's only so many things your kids are able to do. So you end up being sloppy at everything you do and not really good at anything you do. The second thing is confusion. Confusion will set in. I say this a lot with my assistant coaches, and it's something I've had to really work on for myself. I feel like I'm a relatively intelligent person, and I retain information. I understand a lot of concepts, but I'm not on the field on Friday night. I don't get to play. I'm dealing with some kids that they like football and they are passionate, they want to play hard, but it might be their second sport, or they might be brand new to the sport. We got a lot of kids that come out in 10th grade, or we get them off the basketball court, and if we start dumping all this amount of information on them, we're going to confuse them. And when kids are confused, even slightly, if you've coached long enough, you know that 4-4 turns into about a 5-2 because they're going to play slow, they're not going to play fast, and we do that as coaches when we overcoach. We give them too much information. So obviously some kids can handle more, but we got to be very careful about doing too much, and that includes not just scheme-wise, that includes what you tell your kid, on how many times you may have seen it or maybe you've been guilty of it, where a kid's hearing something after every play and now they're thinking and not playing. Be careful of doing too much coaching to your players. The third thing, you don't have an identity. If you do everything, then when the game's on the line, you don't really know what to go to. And I've had this issue before. We were pretty good at 5, 6, 7, 8 things, but then when the game was on the line, we didn't know what we were going to do. And you want to make sure you're very clear. So that's scheme-wise, that you have this is what we're going to live in and what we're going to be great at. And we're going to build these different tags, these different concepts off of this. But when it's 4th and 1 and the season's on the line or the playoffs are on the line or whatever's on the line, our kids believe we can do X. And that's up for you as a coach to decide. For me, you can kind of see what we like, what we believe in. We have a heavy package we believe in. We got guys that we believe in the passing game. But as a coach, you need to make sure your kids understand and believe this is what we're going to do. And when you do too much, a lot of times that gets missed. I use my analogy as a funnel. I've used it before a couple times, and it applies, in my opinion, to anything in life. Right now, you're here on this channel. You're going to probably look at another channel and gain football information. That's the top of the funnel. I think as a coach, that's our job, is to get as much information as possible, because our job is to give our kids the best chance to win. So we want to gather or gain information right here at the top of the funnel and get as much as we can handle. Okay? Then we want to start to trim it down. So as the season kind of goes on, I'm going to gain this information and I'm going to start building my playbook. Okay? And this could be offense, defense. This could be program-wise. But this, 2 O's in book, this whole section from pretty much here to here, if we're starting to build our playbook. So we're going through, it could be before the spring, before we start talking to kids. Right around here is where we start talking to our kids about what we're going to do. So our coaches may be involved in this. You may have your OC, your O-line coach. Coach, we get together and we debate our personnel, we debate our scheme, we debate what's going in. When you get down here, you start to involve your kids. Okay, so this may be spring if you're lucky enough to have spring football. Okay, this may be summer where you're playing with different things, and as you continue to work down, as that funnel continues to narrow, this may be fall camp. And then finally, you have your offense ends up being right there. So I'm not discouraging you from going out and studying as much as you can, but it's July, and now is the time not to be adding in and gaining. It's the time to be funneling down and coming to that belief of what are we going to do? Because if you do too much, what's going to happen is an adverse effect for your team. Hopefully you got something from this, guys. Obviously, if you're interested in my specific offense or defense, it's available out there. You can go through this channel if you'd like to. Subscribe, there'll be more coming out, or just kind of go back through and look at it. If you want in-depth information, I've got all kinds of different resources, including books, PowerPoints, videos, whatever you want, all going to be over at fbcoachsimpson.com. Or you can comment on this video. I'll try to come back and answer your question. Or email me, fbcoachsimpson@gmail.com. Appreciate your time.